All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending both in person and on Zoom. Today, we are putting on our ETI-sponsored cybersecurity seminar with Naveen, our very gracious guest, to join us today. Thank you, Naveen Garg. I'll be helping to facilitate today. My name is Zach Semblin. I'm the Dean of the STEM Division at Foothill College and also oversee the Emerging Technologies Institute here at the college. And I wanted to start off by just giving a brief background and introduction about Naveen. And after that, he'll get into all the ins and outs about cybersecurity. And I know he's already taken a few questions on the board, which we'll get to at some point as well. So if you haven't already grabbed some snacks or a drink, please help yourself. And if you haven't signed in, please do so. So Naveen Grag is an expert in scalable cybersecurity architecture, focusing on data privacy, security, system reliability, and performance. He has over 17 years of experience and has designed advanced tools for real-time threat detection, ensuring critical infrastructure protection worldwide. Some of Naveen's achievements include the Best Paper Award and the Global Innovation, Excellence, and Research Award, along with a patent for advanced system for detecting social engineering threats. He's authored several technical papers and completed his book, Beyond Firewalls, Security at Scale, which is actually also on Amazon now, right? Naveen has led cybersecurity workshops at KIET Engineering College and was a chief guest at Galgosha University's third international conference on sustainable business practices, and also contributes as a cybersecurity research reviewer for All India Management Association. Additionally, he has delivered guest lecture on data privacy and security at Christ University. And finally, Naveen frequently delivers talks at institutions, including this one as we speak at Foothill College, Chapman University as well, and he has a lot of insights on AI and cybersecurity and how they have been featured in leading media outlets, and remains committed to advancing cybersecurity in all of these emerging fields. So thank you once again, Naveen, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And you can say any initial remarks you want, and when you're ready, if you could just share your slides on the screen, that'd be great.
I would say thank you so much, Jeff, for providing me the opportunity. I want to share my knowledge with the next generation. That is the way I can give back to the society. Having said that, we could start. I have some questions with me, and I will try to answer those questions during this session. So let me try to share my screen. That will be this program.
We had one comment in the chat, Naveen, if you would just mind to be conscientious of how fast you're talking, because some of the Zoomers are saying it's a little fast, that's all.
Yeah, we'll try to cover as much as possible. I think that is much visible, right?
Yeah, looks good.
So our today objective is emerging cybersecurity trends. In this talk, we are going to cover cyber threats, trends, and their impact, and what are the traditional methods in the cybersecurity field was used, and how are we emerging from those traditional way now, how the cybersecurity is getting advanced, and how the AI is helping cybersecurity, and what are the risks in AI, and how can we mitigate those, and why cybersecurity. So we'll try to cover all those points. So basically, the flow will be what is cybersecurity, what is the attack, what are the traditional way was used in past, and how the cybersecurity is emerging further, and how the AI is helping cybersecurity, and what are the risks with AI. and how can we make our career in cybersecurity. Those things we are going to cover in this small tech talk. So moving to the cyber threats and their impact. So basically, what is a cyber attack? Basically, if anybody is gaining access, unauthorized access, and trying to perform actions which is not allowed to him or her, that is called attack. And the person who is doing this activity called cyber attack. Okay, so there could be a multiple reason of that attack. It could be a financial gain, it could be a thrill seeker, and there could be some insider threat when employee get disassociated with the company's goal and they become an insider threat. There could be some terrorist group. They have some ideological difference with the government, and there could be a state sponsors also. When even government try to infiltrate in the system of other countries, that is called state sponsored group. But for being an IT professional, when we are performing the job, we have to keep our system safe. So cyber attackers have a different role. They could be a thrill seeker. They want some financial gain. They could be an insider threat. They could be part of a terrorist group. They could be a state-sponsored group. So threats can come from multiple places. It's not like there are some groups sitting somewhere isolated. Anybody could become attacker because various reasons. So the impact of cyber attacks. So as we mentioned that there are some national security issues with cyber attacks. There could be a possibility that infrastructure get attacked or banking system get collapsed and all. But other than that, we have some individual level of losses, emotional trauma, financial losses when person credit card, bank account get stolen. And even though the new trends what we are seeing now, even the intellectual properties are on the risk now. So let's say if somebody create a patent or create a good idea, wonderful idea, business model, that can be also stolen. So that is also becoming a risk of a cyber attack. Emotional trauma, if it is leading the fear, anxiety, if your account get hacked, somebody is posting on behalf of you, and all those things. And the loss of reputation of let's say you started your startup, you make a good company, but data got breach out, then your whole hard work and everything can be fall down because of the reputation at stake if any data breaches happen. Um, and being a professional, if any mistake cause the cyber attack or the data leak, it can cost the job as well. So, in short, we can see that there is a lot of negative impacts of the cyber attacks, and even we may not be a cybersecurity specialist, we may be someone in the IT field, but still we want to learn to keep our job safe. So there are some example of the financial impact in the recent years. So there was a data breach happened on the Equifax when there was a Apache vulnerability which was not patched on time, and it cost $4 billion to company. And the Wanakeri, that is a ransomware attack, and there is a target data breach when they did not apply proper software patches on their point of sale machines, and it cost $200 million to them. So now coming to the traditional way of network security. So now we are going to discuss how cybersecurity was managed in the previous decades. So there was a one common practice for the cybersecurity was the network security. When we are saying network security, then so what network security was trying to cover that it will control the unauthorized access, DDoS attacks, malware, and data breaches. The way the way cyber attacks happen, that is DDoS when anybody is trying to flood your network with too many requests. So maybe you are able to stop the traffic, but if anybody keeps sending thousand and thousand requests, then your device becomes overloaded and give up, and your real user may not be able to make the request. So DDoS attacks, man in the middle, when somebody can can capture your connections, and you are contacting to the man in the middle, and that person is forwarding your traffic to the real source. So you may not realize that somebody is recording your traffic and watching your traffic. So network intrusion, if unauthorized access happen in the network resources, and the ransomware attacks when somebody encrypt your complete data and ask for the to unlock your data, it will ask for money. So those network security is addressing all this challenge in traditional way, and how it was doing. So the way network security was working, it is in use. We have firewalls, which is blocking all unauthorized access. It controls the traffic, block unauthorized access. IDS system, it is monitoring network traffic, and based on the traffic patterns, it generates the signal that okay, there is some attack or possibility of a cyber attacks. We were using VPNs. VPN is giving us secure connections, so your communication cannot be had by like a man in the middle. Nobody can tap in your traffic. And we were using network segment when we are dividing the complete network in the sections, so that if any attack happens, then only that particular part will be affected. Let's say there's a complete network, so we divide in 4. Then, if any attacker was able to access this site, then at least 75% is covered. So these were the traditional network security. So if you think about cybersecurity, then you may think about the firewalls, you may think about the IDS, you may think about the VPN, and you may think about the network segment. Those are the still basic principle of the cybersecurity, but things are evolving a lot after that. So, but it's still a basic principle for any cybersecurity. Let's say Foothill College wants to apply security in the college, then they start with this. They have to install the firewall, they have to implement a network monitoring, log monitoring, they have to implement VPNs for a secure communication, and they have to divide the network in a different segments. So next traditional way of cybersecurity to look there are some participants who are interested in the UI, as you are also in the front end development, right? And she is also doing the web development. You are making applications, right? So application security is very critical for any developer. So what application security is trying, the challenges for the application security are like a SQL injections attack, when anybody try to inject a malicious code which could behave as a SQL query and try to gain most of the data information. It could be having the username, passwords also. So basically, application security needs to cover those risks in your application. SQL injections, cross-site scripting, if any script can be injected in your web pages. I hope some participants may familiar about the HTML, JavaScript, and we know that there is an input section. And everybody knows, even if you are not a front-end developer, you know that if you are going to the banking site, you are putting a username, password. Even if you are going to Google, you are searching something. Those are the user input sections. So those are the areas where script can be injected, cross-site scripting can be injected. So if your application is not covering that one, then any attackers can inject a code and it can capture your complete application, and it may expose your data as well. So zero-day exploits, for example, if you are developing a application, for example, you are making your own service, right? So you might be using some open source things. For example, Apache, you might be using Java, maybe Kafka, Elasticsearch. There are so many open source tools, right? So they also find some vulnerability where attackers can attack those open source software. So if you are not fully aware what are the vulnerabilities identified and how to patch them, then that become a risk for the zero-day exploits. Means your system is already having some vulnerability where attackers can get into it. So that is also come under the application security, and the insecure authentication, when weak authentication can let attacker bypass the login system. So there are ways if your applications is not following. Nowadays you guys see that MFA is so much common, and that is the one solution comes to the application security, that the password could be hacked or it could be bypassed. So if we have a MFA system, then it will provide some security. So application security, basically this is a traditional way to apply the cybersecurity principle to ensure application does not have any weaker area where attackers can gain the access and gain the data. So how application security is providing the safety? It's a code reviews. So code reviews principles get applied for the security. Application firewall, where we are monitoring, filtering the block of malicious traffic, detecting and block malicious traffic and protect application from the exploit. So we apply the application security to ensure that no malicious scripting is coming inside or the port is not open. And the penetration testing, that is the section where whatever application is developed. So there is a QA testing where we are checking is there any bug or not. But the penetration testing has a different goal. It covers to ensure that you do not have any security here. Are you opening unnecessary ports during your application? Are you running your application as a root user or like an admin user? Are you giving lot of access to end user? And are you opening your complete directory folder to the public? All those things will come under penetration testing to ensure that your application is secure and attackers cannot find a gap in your applications to gain the data or make unauthorized transactions. So penetration testing is also part of the application security. And the patch management. If anybody has a work experience, so they may know about the patch management, where we want to cover all the vulnerabilities. Plus, if we have any code bug, then we will apply how to apply that. Everything come in the patch management. So far we covered two pillars of traditional cybersecurity. First is the network security. Can anyone give me what we are doing in the network security? If network security, what it use to provide the security? Any keyword if you remember from the network security? How are we providing the network security? Yes, it's segmentation. Network security. Perfect. Very good. Any other? How are we doing the network security? Firewall. Simple. Cybersecurity usually tagged with the firewall. That's why my book name is Beyond Firewalls. So we are not anymore associate cybersecurity with the firewall. So firewall and network segmentation, IDS, all these are coming from the network security. Now, how application security works? Keywords. How application security works? Screen is there. That's the keyword. If you say it, then you will remember it. Application security, basically it is trying to cover gap in our application. It could be SQL injection, XSS, weaker authentication mechanism. And how are we covering it? Application security, we are covering through code reviews. So let's say if you are a developer, then you cannot be an approver of your code. There could be someone who will review your code and approve your code. And you have a penetration testing. It is a different from the QA testing. Penetration testing is not going to test your functionality. Let's say you develop a code where you can put an item into the basket and check out the order. That all things can be tested by QA. But penetration testing is trying to see is other user is able to access your basket. Is other user can see your credit card information. Is somebody can log in from your user account. Those are come under the penetration testing. So penetration testing is a one principle of application security. And the patch management, that we have to ensure there is no vulnerability, known vulnerability in your system. Now next, I hope you might getting those information during awareness months and all, college also runs sometime, and Jack may be more aware about this. Like we have some phishing attacks. Means everybody is aware. Phishing attacks. If somebody is sending you email that okay, congratulations, you won lottery and something like that. So phishing attack, when somebody is trying to trick you, malware, if any virus come as a like an attachment and you are downloading it, malware, insider threats, if any employees get disengaged with the organization or have a ill intentions when joining to the organization for a purpose, and your intellectual property theft, those all risks to cover under the information security. So all organizations have the information security center where they are trying to cover all those risks. The basic principles of the information security is the encryption to provide to cover all the data under encryption, and only the authorized user can decrypt. Access control to only allow the designated roles to access the resources. Backup and recovery, there should be a backup procedure to keep the data safe in any unexpected scenario. We can do the recovery. And the security training program, where we are educating to the employees and the organization associates about how to identify the phishings and how to respond to the emails and everything. So that come under information security. Okay, so far we discussed about the traditional way of cyber security. So there are three. What is the first one? Can you name it? First one? Network. Just one is enough. Second. What was the second pillar? Application. And what is the third one? Information. So these are the three basic pillars of a traditional cyber security. But now, since our IT is always evolving, those three are not enough to provide cyber security. So what are the emerging cyber threats which are giving challenge to the cyber security? So bot attacks, if you heard about it. So what is the bot attacks? Now attackers are not remain humans. So they can create a software program and it is keep trying it to attack the system. So those are called bot attacks. When automated script is keep conducting the keep trying to see if they can gain the access. Let's say there is a username and the password, they are randomly trying the password. Let's say there is a limit of 3 passwords per day. So there could be a program which will all in the morning will try 3 passwords every day. So those are the bot attacks. Maybe we will not let the system get like any bot attackers go to the application security by making sure username passwords are correct. Maybe we can block the IP if we know the area, but still that bot attacks, what they can do, they can overwhelm your system. So that is the one emerging cyber threats. We have a synthetic identity frauds where user can store the data and by using of AI can create a fake identity. And we have a advanced persistent threat. Now this is a new type of attack is happening where attackers are not trying to just get into the system and out and see if they can attack the system. They are keep trying to learn about the personality, trying to see the tracking the pattern of the user, and based on that all the information profiling, they can pretend as a user. So that is called advanced persistent threat, where they are not looking for a short-term attack. They are planning for long. They can keep making a user profile to pretend as a user. So then now we have one emerging cyber threat that is called deepfakes. So for the media, like you might saw over the social medias like AI generated fake videos, audios. They can mislead the people, and it has a significant damage on the trust and credibility. Those are the emerging cyber threats, and where our traditional way of cyber security is not capable enough to handle those threats. So how are we dealing with this? So these are the, now we are moving towards advanced cyber security tooling. So and few more because of the new open source availability, AI powered attacks where AI can give lot of informations, cloud vulnerability. Now people are putting their codes in the cloud. If you are developing your app, you might be using AWS to put your code. So now AWS risk is your risk. If you are putting on other Azure or any other cloud, their risk is your risk. Open source risk we already discussed. It may have the vulnerability. Simplified attack exploitation is now attackers also have access to the technology. They can also use the technology. So now this after talking about the emerging threats, now how cybersecurity is evolving. So cybersecurity now fighting with those threats by using user behavior analysis. So we discuss about the advanced persistent threat. That okay, attackers might be collecting the profile. So the same way, cybersecurity is doing user behavior analytics. So cybersecurity is also coming with the idea we can also create a user profile, and based on the user action, we can see okay, this is an anomaly. It cannot be the same user behavior. So let me put one example. Let's say being myself, if I'm in a Bay Area, maybe my daily routine could be 9 o'clock. I'm logging in, I'm doing the activity. Maybe I'm going to San Francisco by the evening. Maybe sometime I'm going LA and all those. So all this information can come under the user behavior analysis. But how much it is possible that today I am in Foothill College and very next day I will be in Japan. There is a possibility I could take a flight and I can go. But how much it is possible that I am at this time in Foothill College and within next 2 hours I will be in Japan? It is not possible. So that type of patterns analysis, user profiling can help organizations to identify if there is a fraud going on. So the user behavior analytic is the emerging cybersecurity tool. API endpoint protection. Now we are using API endpoint security other than firewalls. Now we can club complex programs with the API endpoint, which can provide the security to the application, where we can apply bot detections, fraud preventions, where anybody who wants to access, let's say Wells Fargo, they want to ensure that they will not get a bot attack. There will be not too many requests come, which is machine generated. They could hire endpoint security, which will make sure that okay, there is no bot attack is happening. Third is the threat intelligence platform. Now, the way security is working, it is collecting the information of all the threats detected across the globe and collecting that information, and based on that, they can decide whether is there any cyber threat is happening at any given time. Deception technology. Now, what cybersecurity is also doing, it is creating some false data and honeypots. So what is that mean? If attackers is keep looking to the world that where they can attack, so we can give them a honeypot which has lot of vulnerability, have lot of ports open. Let the attacker come to that honeypot. If they come there, then we can gain the information who is trying to attack the system, and based on that information, we can train our network system to avoid that traffic. So let's say if Foothill College implement one honeypot and keep the 80 port open and keep the user weak authentication, and if attacker is identified that okay, ports are open, 22 ports are open, they can come here, and from the honeypot logs we will know okay, who is trying to gain access, unauthorized access. That information will be very useful for the cybersecurity tools, where we can block those IP addresses, those users, so that we can keep our original system safe. So these are the few emerging cybersecurity tools: user behavior analytics, API endpoint security, threat intelligence platform, and the deception technology. So now coming to the AI-powered cybersecurity, as that was a question, is one of the questions, like how AI is helping cybersecurity or it is a threat. So how the AI is helping? it is giving a predictive detection. So AI anticipate and counter the threat before it emerges. Now we are collecting the data and running the AI system to ensure if we are seeing any pattern, unusual behavior, then it can detect and alert us. Adaptive defense, AI continuously update the defense as a new threat emerges. So there is a one example we can take like a Gmail system. So you could see that Gmail is doing filtering of the emails, right? It is detecting if it is a spam mail, is a promotion mail, or it's a real mail. So how they are keep looking the content and they are keep training their Gmail system. So identify it could be a spam email. So those are the adaptive defense mechanism. Fraud detections, as we discussed, analyze the pattern and detect the and prevent the fraud activities. And improve the threat detection, AI process large data set identified hidden and emerging threats. So the way we discuss the tips. So let's say if the banking system, Wells Fargo will share the threat information with Bank of America, Citibanks, they will collect and they will make a tip so that they can fight with the cyber attacks better. So now if we want to create an AI model for the cybersecurity tooling. So the way the flow works, first we should know what we want from the AI model. If we want to create a new advanced tool of the cybersecurity, first we should know what we want to create. Let's say we want to create for a bot detection and fraud detection. First, you need to identify what type of tool you want to make, AI tool. Once you have, then you have to select the AI model, how this model will work, how it will collect the information. Then you should know the how will you prepare your data. Like let's say you are collecting the network traffic. So now you will take a IP address out of it. You will take a user agent information out of it. What do you want? That is called the data processing. Then you will train your model. So let's say we want to make a bot detection tool. And for the bot detection tool, you may pull the IP addresses from the where the bot might come. You may pull the user agent. Do you know the user agent? So let's say if you are making a request, let's say this is a web server, and if you are making a request from your laptop and all, you might be using Safari, you might be using Chrome. So when the request comes, in the request header, there is a information of your browser that is called user agent. I'm just making one example to understand how the AI system works. So we might be keep recording. Okay, this is the user agent information. Request is coming from Safari or the Chrome or the Firefox. But if you are using Python program to make a request, then user agent information is null because it's a script information. Then you can detect. And if you are creating a bot request, then your model can extract the information of IP address. It can extract the device ID information. That information you can save and you can create your own database to train your model. So then you are building a database where you can see, okay, from where the bot attacks are coming, what time those are coming. So you can make your AI model to train them. And then you have to keep validate. So you have to make a mechanism. Let's say Foothill College implemented the AI model for the bot detection. So one user was trying by any mean, AI model was not able to detect that it's a human and block the access. Then Foothill College also has to make a provision that user can send a ticket that okay, I'm not able to access. Then there should be someone who can give the feedback back to AI model that you did not detect correctly. And then you can make a correction in the AI model. Okay, what did we miss? Why we are detecting as a bot? So basically, this is the complete flow of any AI model designing. You should know your objective, select the model, how you want to tailor your to goal, collect the data, train your model, and validate your model. Now, there was a one question also like cybersecurity versus AI. Is AI can take over complete cybersecurity? So the thing is now AI risk and mitigations. So AI is also not risk free. There are some risks involved in AI. So misinformation and fake content. So generative AI can produce misleading and false information. For example, fake news article. So if you input wrong, then you will get output wrong. So the solution which we can implement for AI misinformation and fake content, we can partner with the fact checker and implement automated content verification system. Basically, that is one of the theme of my patent work when I work on the social engineering attacks. So if you are getting reviews and all, and you just want to make sure that is it somebody is trying to defame organization or individual, you can collaborate with the fact checkers to see that information is correct or not. So you can make a security system for your AI that, okay, if any wrong information is coming, then you can get validated through the fact checker in an automated way, not like a human way. So you can make an endpoint connection, gather the information, send the request, validate, and ensure that no fake content get delivered from your system. Bias and discrimination. So risk is like AI model trained on a biased data can give like a discrimination related results. And example is like a recommendation to the social services. And the solution is we have to do the bias audit. So there are some audit service which can see that your AI model is not biased and not doing the discrimination. So manipulating all the forecasting data. So how the attackers can impact your AI model? They can tamper your AI model data and they're trying to feed wrong information into it. So example is like if any AI model is trying to forecast energy demand, and if you insert wrong information about the weather, it could give a wrong projection of the energy demand. So solution is implementing the encryption, access control, and anomaly detection to secure your data. So model poisoning, if attackers inject harmful data during the AI training, then complete AI model get compromised. So for example, financial forecast compromised by the malicious data injection. So regular audit, monitor, and validating training data is the solution. So overall, what we are trying to cover here is AI models also not a risk-free. There are some risks in the AI model where security can provide that solutions to those risks. There is not enough legal and regularity compliance yet available for AI, but still we can use data protections compliance to ensure our AI model will not get into any legal challenges. So, for example, GDPR, which is like a gold standard for the data privacy, we should ensure that our AI models are following all the regularity compliance, at least in the data terms. Now, everybody favorite question: why cyber security? So I divided this question in few segments. Some people may want to become software engineers. Some may want to go especially in the cyber security. So let's say somebody is want to become a software engineer. They may think, okay, why I will learn about the cyber security. So cyber security is very important for the software engineers because then only they will learn how to secure coding. So you may make your application, you may code in Java, but if you don't know that there is a vulnerabilities like SQL injection, accesses, then you may cause data breaches. Then your whole hard work will be vanished, and you may be blamed for the data breaches. So secure coding you can learn through the cybersecurity. And how can we learn about the secure coding? What is the section of cybersecurity talk about secure coding? We talk about three basic principles of cybersecurity, right? Which section talk about secure coding? Anybody remember? No. Code review is the part of application security. So secure coding you can learn under the application security, but you answer right. Code review is one of the sections that will help us to understand how the secure coding works. So basically, application security give us that information how to do the secure coding. Security in development, we have to start from the beginning. And the career growth, like if you know about the vulnerabilities, you know how to block those attacks, then you are most valuable software engineer for the market. Let's say you may know the Java coding, you may know C++, you may know other languages also, but you don't know there is a vulnerability problem like SQL injections, XSX, or weaker authentications. If you don't know about those, then you could risk complete application development program. But if you know about it and you can highlight in your profile, then you are most valuable software engineers. So for IT professionals, if somebody wants to go in the infrastructure security, we covered that one, that you can protect the network system, even the cloud platform now. You may think that, okay, now nobody is maintaining the data center, but the cloud infrastructure also needs cybersecurity specialists to ensure that there will be no data breaches from there. So the career path is you can become a cybersecurity expert, like network security, cloud security, and infrastructure leadership role as well. If you want to go in the management, maybe somebody want to pursue MBA. So you should know how to do the risk management, oversee the strategy to reduce the cyber risk. So let's say you want to become a CEO, you want to go on a higher management level. Still, you should know how to do the risk management. What are the risks to involve in your product? How to reduce the cyber risk? Business continuity, you should know how to make a model where if any disaster happen or any attack happen, how can you do the business continuity plan? Leadership roles also need a cybersecurity manager, so which can ensure that the company is secure. But basically, all the business are going online, IT based. So management role also need people who understand the security. And if you want to make your own startups, you want to open your own company, then you can take the ideas like innovative idea in the security. There is a lot of demand for the cloud-based security tools, AI-driven security tools. As we discussed, that we have user behavior analytics as a new emerging trend in the cybersecurity. You could come up with that idea. It is very high demand for those type of tool which can detect based on the user behavior. Let me say in this way. So we know that if anybody wants to log into the system, financial system. So what is the way to log in? We are giving the username and the password. So basically everything is stick with the password. So, and if password is leaked, then anybody can access the account, right? So now what cybersecurity or the new recommendations are, rather than depend on password, we should know from where the user can log in. We should have a user profile already. Based on user profile, we will allow. Let's say this is my laptop, and let's say I have an account in Bank of America. So they know, okay, I can log in through my iPhone. They have my iPhone information. They have my laptop information. They know my devices. So rather than depend on my password, they can see, okay, am I logging on the recognized device which are associated with me? You may also experience sometime that if you are logging in a new laptop or new device, so you may see the message, this device is not recognized with your profile. Sometime if anybody experience. So what is that? That is the new way to secure your authentication, to match with your profile, to see when you usually log in. That is called the user behavior analytic based security. So you can make an innovative security tool. There is a high demand for the new cybersecurity tools and services, and there is a growth potential. If you can build an endpoint protections based tool, that is a hot selling thing in the market. So even if you want some startup ideas, you want some research idea, there is a lot of opportunity in the cybersecurity. Now, based on input from faculties, so there was a requirement like how to build a career in the cybersecurity. So this is a very generic guideline. If anybody who does not know anything about the cybersecurity and wants to make a career in the cybersecurity, what are the steps? First and foremost, we should know about the networking protocols, TCP/IP, DNS routing, subnetting, to understand the network operations. So you have one expert from the network You worked in the system, right?
I did.
Yeah. So you may know how important it is to know about the network. Even if you want to start with the cybersecurity or anything, you should know about the networking first. So you can't make progress in the cybersecurity unless you understand the networking. Once you understand the networking, then network security and monitoring will be your second step, where you should understand about the firewalls, VPN, IDS, how to do the monitoring or network traffic monitoring. You can use like a Splunk and Wireshark tools to do the network monitoring, but you should know about the firewall, VPN, and IDS. Once you are covered with these two steps, then you are activated yourself for a cybersecurity species. However, if you go to the step 3, that is the web development basics. If you should know HTML, JavaScript, basic of HTTP, so that you can support your organization to identify. You can identify the application security vulnerabilities gap. Once you have that info, you do not need to become an expert, but at least some basic understanding how the web development works. Then you can do the penetration testing. If you have a penetration testing, then you are in the unique position where you can do the network security and you can do the application security. So you can provide an end-to-end security to the organization where you are covering network traffic plus the application security both. Then after that, monitoring and incident response. If you are trying to become like a manager or VP, then you should know how to stabilize the incident response. Incident response is the prime responsibility of the manager. And monitoring setup, you should know how to do the monitoring setup to understand the ongoing threats. So this is the basic step-by-step guideline. How can you make a cybersecurity career? First two step, enable you in cybersecurity. Next two step, make you a perfect fit for any organization to cover network plus application security. And the fifth one will make you unique person who can set up the monitoring correctly to detect the threats correctly and incident response. That is a managerial role. So if you cover all these 5 points, then you will become a cybersecurity expert. So now coming to the next and the last slide. So question and answer. I put some question here. What is cybersecurity? We covered that. How to start? We covered that. Cybersecurity and AI and from zero to hero, that those are covered. But I'm open for all other questions if anybody has any questions. Any question?
What's the most common way that people get hacked?
So most common is phishing for a day-to-day person. If we talk about phishing, is the most common attack. Like if you get any emails and you don't know, or you click or you visit a website where you have less confidence. So phishing is the most common way. Second is the authentication. Your authentication or password is considered as a weakest area nowadays. So we should not depend on the password. At least MFA, if you are using any critical site, then try to enable MFA. That is the minimum we can do to keep ourself safe. So MFA password is a way to keep us secure. So do not depend on the password. MFA.
How did actually hackers understand my password?
Password.
Yeah, how is it possible?
That is there's a multiple way. Okay, so if man in the middle is the one way. So you might be connecting, you might be accessing your financial institution website. But if there is a person who is providing the internet service, and if that man in the middle attack is pretending you that person is the website, it can behave as a website. You might be giving every information to that person, and it is passing to website and keep doing the transaction, so you may never feel it. Okay, so that could be the one way. Second, if website is not secure. It's all depend on the server, not on the it can be leaked from you also. If any shoulder surfing is happening, person can get it to know about it. But if server has a weak security, which we discuss during the application security, you may be passing the password in the plain text. If anybody can tap in the network traffic, then person can get the username passwords. So there are multiple ways. And the third is the SQL injections, where data breach can happen and username password table can get exposed to the hacker. So password is basically why we are saying password is the weakest link in the security, because what is password? Password is somewhere in the database table. If database table get leaked, then your password is exposed. But let's say you have a MFA enabled, your password get known to the hacker. Still, you have to approve that notification, whatever comes in your phone or whatever. So in that way, you have that control still with you, not on the server side. I hope this answer your question. I hope this answer your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So any other question? Yes.
Yeah, so I say security at scale, obviously Cisco, everybody else, Google, everybody's looking into the emerging technology, right?
Yeah.
So this has to scale, and it's a different type of scale than the security.
Yeah.
Maybe different protocols, or obviously different approaches, like in virtual reality. We did have none of our virtual reality meetings, where somebody out of randomly dropped in. Didn't exactly look like the best, the most friendliest people. It wasn't from the American continent, it was from
Outside, yeah. Yes.
And you know, my colleague kind of stepped away because it's like, this is not good. And I kind of had to calm down the situation, because he came in with, I don't know what they were thinking. He was one of the VR leaders, Eric Reed, that was there, and that was kind of like not a very good, but it's a completely different type of.
Yeah, so that is somewhere linked with his question when he was saying about how the password leak. Because if your conferences depend on, let's say, passkey and all, if it can get leaked or guessed, maybe person can guess also, right? So rather than depend on that, if we have a user profiling enabled, where we can have a profiling enabled, and based on profile, we can gauge whether it's a fraud or it's a real user, then that will provide the best safety. So that is called the risk scoring. If we can score and we can, based on that, we can do. That is the next generation of the cybersecurity, where we are doing user behavior analytics. We are predicting the issues or the attacks. Based on that, we are generating the score. If let's say 0 to 1, if it is more than 0.9, that means it's a good activity. If it is less than 0.9 and 0.5, then it's yellow. Maybe we can throw a question, security question, right? If less than 0.5, that means it's a risk. Then we can say that, okay, we did not recognize.
Yeah, one of the things, this is like 2 years ago, I don't know, NSI, that's a series, like detective series in the military, I think, which is very popular. That was one of the best advertisements for Cisco. They showed, like, they had Cisco telephones, but also they talked about Cisco networks. And then at one point, there was a massive attack onto this agency's network, and basically the general agent came up and said, "Oh, thank God, the Cisco network is self-defending." So I was thinking something like that. So you engage AI and maybe do the analytics as you said, and then self-defend. Like this person, obviously something is off.
Yes.
At least put them in some kind of purgatory.
That was the theme of it. Yes.
Because that was an incident which was really concerning.
Yeah, that was the complete theme of this discussion. That the traditional way of cybersecurity, when we were depend on the firewalls, that may not work anymore. Still, we need firewalls. Okay, it's not like firewall is going away. The only thing is we have to use advanced cybersecurity tool when we are using behavior analysis. We are making AI models which can keep record what are the clean traffic, what is the bot traffic. Based on that, we can protect our system well. Thanks.
Is that included in your cybersecurity book, or that's the next edition?
No, that this book actually give a good insight how the AI models work, how the predictive analysis work, what are the parameters, like if you are going to the bot detection side, what are the good bots, bad bots, how the scoring works. It will give a good insight about it. So it will give a lot of information of advanced cybersecurity tools. Yeah. So I am putting my all experience in this book actually. Yeah. So coming to the what is next, just to ensure that we give enough information. So workshops, we could do the workshops. It's depend on the participations, and Jack is the final person to approve any workshops. But we could do the workshop where we can talk about the application security, where we can do some demos. So we could, in this workshop, we could see in the live how anybody can hack your account. If application is not secure, you might be trusting on one entity, creating username, password, giving a complex password, everything. So how those password leaks can happen can be covered in the workshops, where we can do the hands-on exercise. Network security, how can we tap into the traffic, how can we see what is going on into the network. These type of workshops we can do. That is the what is next we can do. How to reach out, if you want to reach out me, interact with me, or keep getting some information about the cybersecurity, you can get connected on the LinkedIn. And the book, it's one more thing is about my book, just released. I will provide some copy to Jack, and it will be available in library. So you could read and share your feedback with me if it feels good to you. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope it is a useful and knowledge gaining session for you guys.
It was very useful. We really appreciate it. Well, that kind of concludes everything. We have a little bit of time if we want to mingle or have some more snacks. I know you all are taking advantage of the snacks, so that's good. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to ask Naveen, please stay a few moments and check in with him.
Yeah, I'm open for dialogues, discussion.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Yes. So you said like